This verse from the request or quote by Mother Devahoti to her transcendental son Kapila, we can learn an important lesson. It's a lesson for all of us on how to approach the spiritual master. How exactly we are supposed to stand in front of the spiritual master, our mindset, how it is supposed to be. So here we see that. Tad etanme vijanihi. Vijanihi means to explain. So Devahuti is requesting her son, tad etat, that very same thing, referring to devotional service to the Supreme Lord. So many questions in the previous shlokas she asks. She is telling here, that same thing, kindly explain it to me. Vijanihi. Yatha aham mandadir hare. Aham, I am mandadhihi. Dhihi means intelligence. Is it that, oh, I am very intelligent, so kindly tell me, I'll understand it? No. Devahuti is telling, I am aham mandadhihi, very less intelligent. Manda means slow, very slow in understanding. Yataha mandadir hare sukham buddhyeya durbodham. The science of the absolute truth is durbodham, difficult to understand, not very easy. But sukham buddhyeya, sukham means easily, buddhyeya, buddhyeya means that I may understand. Knowledge of the absolute truth is difficult, so you kindly explain it to me so that I can easily understand. Because I am not very intelligent. Why I am not intelligent? Again she says, Yosha bhavadanugrahat. I am Yosha. Yosha means a woman. I am woman, by nature very less intelligent. Science or knowledge of the absolute truth is very difficult. So you kindly explain it to me so that I can easily understand. Sukham buddhyeya. I am a woman. It is very difficult for me to understand the absolute truth because my intelligence is not very great. But if you will kindly explain it to me, even though I am not very intelligent, I can understand it and thereby feel transcendental happiness. So here, in this submission of Mother Devahuti towards her son Kapila, who is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, we can see how the way we humbly submit ourselves in front of our spiritual master. For this, first thing required is we should have faith on the spiritual master, on his mercy, on his knowledge, on his power. Why? Because who is the spiritual master? He is a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. He is a confidential servant of the Supreme Lord. All the powers See, Krishna is the reservoir of all powers, all intelligence, everything is there. He is the reservoir of everything. And who is the spiritual master? He is a confidential associate of Krishna. So he has got access to all those resources at any given point of time towards anyone. He can bestow his mercy, and what can be done? Just like we hear from that verse, Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam. By the mercy of the spiritual master, what can happen? Mukam karoti vachalam. Muka, a dumb person who cannot speak. If somehow he gets the mercy of the spiritual master, he can become a vachala, eloquent speaker. Very nicely he can speak. And then pangum. Pangu means lame man, who can't walk, he doesn't have legs. Pangum langhayate girim. A lame man can cross over big mountains. Because lame person means even normally he can't walk. What to speak of climbing mountains? But if he has got the mercy of the spiritual master, the spiritual master's blessings if he has, he can cross over even big mountains, though he is lame. He cannot walk properly. Still, that can happen. So this is the faith required towards the spiritual master. If somehow or the other I can get the mercy of my spiritual master, yes, everything is possible. As devotees, sadhakas, lot of problems we face in executing our routine spiritual duties. It may be our sadhana, services, relationships, many things, our health. And many of them, what will happen over a period of time, lot of difficulties we face, lot of problems it will give. But somehow or the other, if we can please the spiritual master, by his mercy, all of the obstacles can be easily crossed over. This is the faith which is required. Without this faith, the natural submission may not happen. Still, somehow or the other, we submit ourselves, some service we do, whatever, something done, yes, benefit will be there. Anyhow you come in touch with a pure devotee, that benefit will be there. But if we can maintain this mood, having full faith, then the result is enormous. Just like in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see the story of Ramachandrapuri and Ishwarapuri. Both of them are the disciples of the great Madhavendrapuri, an exalted devotee of the Lord. So we find Ramachandrapuri, because of his offensive nature, he went and instructed his spiritual master, and Madhavendrapuri was not pleased with him, and so Madhavendrapuri cursed him. So he did not get the blessings of Madhavendrapuri. Later he turned out to be an impersonalist, always criticizing devotees. This is what he turned out to be, Ramachandrapuri. On the other hand, Ishwarapuri, through all his menial services, at the end of his life, Madhavendrapuri was bedridden. During those times, Ishwarapuri, very in a humble way, very nicely, he served him to the extent of cleaning his urine and stool, and always used to chant the holy names of Krishna, narrate the pastimes of Krishna, so that Madhavendrapuri could hear it. So through all of these services, which was lovingly done, Madhavendra Puri was very pleased with Ishvara Puri and blessed him. By his blessings, he could get love of Godhead. And he got the ability to become the spiritual master of the Supreme Lord, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is what we see, the difference. So we should have this full faith in the mercy of the spiritual master, and somehow or the other continuously try, put full endeavor to obtain his mercy. This is one thing. One more important point, what we can see from the description given in the purport by Srila Prabhupada and what we see in this verse is about the position of woman. Yosha bhavadanugrahat. Devahuti is telling, I am very less intelligent. Why? Because I am a woman. How can I understand? But by your mercy, if you can explain it to me, then I will be able to understand very easily. So here, we can remember the verse from the Bhagavad Gita wherein Krishna says, Mam hi partha vyapashritya yepisyu papayonayaha striyo vaishyas tatha shudra tepi yanti param gatim. Many people like using this verse, they try to deride the position of woman. Let us try to understand few things, what we can understand and how we can apply that in our life. The translation of this verse goes like this. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, that is merchants, and Shudras, the workers, can attain the supreme destination. So here Krishna classifies Papa Yonayaha, lower birth or sinful birth, whatever, lower birth, women, Vaishyas or merchants and Shudras, even they, by taking shelter of Krishna, they can easily attain the supreme destination. So this is what it says. So, especially men quoting this verse, oh, women means they are Papa Yonayaha, low birth, sinful birth or whatever, they deride. But we should make a keen observation here. Krishna puts all of these categories under one head. Women, Vaishyas and Shudras. Now, if at all, like men deriding women, taking this quote, should consider themselves. Are we qualified Brahmanas or Kshatriyas, possessing all the required qualities of Shama, Dama, Titiksha, Arjava, Astikya, Jnana, Vijnana, all those things? If the answer is yes, Shat Karma Nipunaha, Patan, Patan, Yajan, Yajan, Dana, Pratigraha, all those things if you are able to perform, then okay, yes, a qualified Brahmana or a qualified Kshatriya with Teja, then Dhriti, Yuddhecha, Apalayanam, with all those qualities, then we can consider, yes, a qualified Brahmana or a Kshatriya, whatever. But what is our position? In this current age, born in Kali Yuga, in modes of passion and ignorance, the kind of education what we have got, the kind of association, all of these things, we are far from all Brahmanical qualifications. Though we may be trying for it, but it's a fact that rarely we find any person with all these qualities mentioned in the scriptures. So practically everyone are Shudras and less than Shudras. It is mentioned in the scriptures, Kalau Shudra Sambhavaha. Everyone being born are Shudras, especially in the Kali Yuga. Shudra means not whatever, these high qualities are not there. And what we see, especially in the modern day, at least Shudras are better, at least they are submissive to the other classes of people, higher classes. But what we see in the outside world, not even 4th class, 5th class, 6th class, up to 10th class and lower than this only. Involved in all abominable activities, abominable habits, unclean, all of these things. So, can we claim we are something superior to women, striyo, vaishyas, tata, shudra? We are also of the same category, papa yonayaha. Simply claiming being as if superior, it's of no use. Only it will boost our false ego that I am something superior birth I have got and they are all something low. It only boosts our false ego. A person becomes unnecessarily puffed up, which is against devotional principles. See, on the other hand, women, they have got, at least by birth, through all these whatever quotations from the scriptures, naturally they feel themselves humbled, submissive, taking that position of as if like whatever low position. It is very, very congenial, conducive for their spiritual progress. It's very important. Unnecessarily being puffed up, taking pride that as if I am something superior, it is completely against devotional service. On the other hand, especially women, if at all they consider whatever, okay, like whatever low birth or whatever, that humble submissive position if they take, it is very easy for them to advance in their spiritual life. So, what we can learn from these statements of Mother Devahuti, if we also can take that humble position of being a fallen, conditioned soul, submissively prostrating ourselves in front of the spiritual master, making submissive inquiries, ready to offer all kinds of menial services. So this is very conducive for our spiritual advancement. Let us see through the life and actions and examples through great devotees, the descriptions as given in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, how they submitted themselves in front of their spiritual masters or the Supreme Lord. One great example what we see in the Chaitanya Charitamrita is by the author himself, Krishna Dasa Kaviraja Goswami, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita. He is a very great devotee of Lord Nityananda. In fact, he left his home. Why? Because his brother, elder brother, he was a very great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, but he did not have faith on Lord Nityananda. So, Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami, one fine day he got a dream, and after that, like Nityananda persuaded him to go to Vrindavana. So he left everything and went to Vrindavana. Later, in the chapter describing the glories of Lord Nityananda, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains all those beautiful incidents, what took place in his home with his brother and all of those things. Very nicely explains that, and after that he submits himself. He explains, he tells himself how, what is my position? Jagai madai haite moi se papishta, puri shera kita haite moi se laghishta. He is telling, I am more sinful than Jagai and Madhai, and even lower than the worms in the stool. See, Jagai Madhai haite muise papishta. At least Jagai Madhai are okay. So we have heard that story of Jagai Madhai. All sinful activities they were involved in. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is accepting this position. I am lower than Jagai and Madhai. Not just that, even I am lower than, I am sinful, more sinful than Jagai and Madhai. I am lower than Puri Shera Kita. The worms what we find in the stool, I am lower than that. Then, Mora Nama Shuniye Tara Punyakshaya, Mora Nama Layaye Tara Papahaya. Anyone, Mora Nama Shune, hears my name, loses the results of his pious activities. Tara Punyakshaya, his punya will be lost. Mora Namalaya, those who chant my name or tell out my name, utter my name, Tara Papahaya, he becomes sinful. Emana nirgrihana more, keva kripa kare, eka nityananda vinu, jagat bhitare. So he is considering himself more sinful than Jagai and Madhai, lower than worm in the stool. Anyone who hears my name, their punya will be gone. Anyone who utters my name, they'll become sinful. Of course, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is such an exalted devotee, great devotee. Just by hearing his name, hearing his instructions, his pastimes, we conditioned souls can become purified. But to instruct us, he is taking this position and he says, Emana nirgrihana more keba kripa kare. Emana, such is nirgrihana, abominable. This is my abominable condition. But more keva kripa kare. Who can show mercy upon me? It's only one person who can show mercy upon me. Who is that? Lord Nityananda. Eka Nityananda vinu jagad bhitare. Who in this world but Nityananda could show his mercy to such an abominable person as me? Because even spiritual master means he'll also check the disciple before initiating or before giving instructions. Everything will happen. But I'm such a low person who will accept me as a disciple. It's only Lord Nityananda, he will accept me. Why Lord Nityananda will accept? Because Preme Matta Nityananda Kripa Avatara Uttama Adhama Kichu Nakare Vichara. Why? Because Lord Nityananda is Prema Matta. He is intoxicated by ecstatic love towards Krishna. He is always in that intoxicated condition. And he is Kripa Avatara. He is incarnation of mercy. So, Lord Nityananda, Uttama Adhama Kichu Nakare Vichara. He does not distinguish between the good and bad. See, this is the position of Lord Nityananda. He is intoxicated always in ecstatic love towards the Supreme Lord. He is personified mercy. Anyone falls at his feet, requests for mercy, without considering he is lower or upper or whatever, good or bad, without any consideration, out of his causeless mercy, he uplifts that fallen soul. That's what in the next verse he says. Ye aage padaye tare karaye nistara ata eva nistarila mohena durachara. Ye aage padaye. He delivers all those who fall down before him. Ye aage padaye. Padaye means to fall at his feet. Ye aage padaye tara karaye Nistara. Lord Nityananda, whoever comes and falls at his feet, surrenders unto him, he just delivers them without considering they are good or bad. Ata eva nistarila mohena durachara. Therefore he has delivered such a sinful and fallen person as me. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is telling. And then, mo papishte anilena Shri Vrindavana, mohena adhame dila Shri Rupa Charana. Although I am sinful, mo papishte anilena Vrindavana, he has brought me here to Vrindavana. He has conferred upon me the lotus feet of Shri Rupa Goswami. Mohena adhame dila Shri Rupa Charana. By Lord Nityananda's mercy, I have got the shelter at Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami's lotus feet I have taken shelter of by the mercy of Lord Nityananda. This is what he is considering. Likewise, we also have, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, by the mercy of Lord Nityananda, his representative Srila Prabhupada, we have got the shelter at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, their representative. So this is all by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So this is the humble submission of great devotees. It's not that I am very qualified, I am very intelligent, I am very expert, nothing. I am a fallen conditioned soul, lower than the worm in the stool, very sinful. It's by the Lord's mercy, out of His causeless mercy, somehow we have got shelter at the lotus feet of our spiritual master. In fact, this is what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita also. In the 13th chapter, like Amanitvam, the 20 items of knowledge, what he mentions there. The first one, Amanitvam, being humble, not to be proud. In that way, Acharyopasanam, worshipping the spiritual master. Likewise, we find the case of Haridas Thakur also. When he was so humble, so submissive, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, first time when he took sannyas, he went to the house of Advaita Acharya. 3 days he was fasting. The third day, Advaita Acharya took him to his home and he had prepared wonderful feast. Huge quantity he had cooked and it was all kept in one separate room, and he invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda to come and accept prasada. So both Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, they called for Mukunda and Haridas Thakur. You also come along with us, we'll take prasadam. But Mukunda, he says, no, Mahaprabhu, some work is there, some pending work is there, I'll just finish and come, you carry on. And he goes away. And Haridas Thakur, he says, Haridasa kahe, Moi papishta adhama, bahire eka mushti pache, karimu bhojana. Haridas Thakur says, I am the most sinful and the lowest among men. Later I shall eat one palmful of prasadam while waiting outside. I am a very sinful person. I can't come and sit along with you and eat. I'll stay outside. After all of your prasadam is over, just one mushti, one if you can offer to me, I'll sit outside and I'll take that. There in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, although the Hindus and Muslims lived together in a very friendly manner, still there were distinctions between them. The Muslims were considered Yavanas or low-born, and whenever a Muslim was invited, he would be fed outside the house. Although personally called by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu to take prasadam with them, still out of great humility, Haridas Thakur submitted, I shall take prasadam outside of the house. Although Haridas Thakur was an exalted Vaishnava, accepted by Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, nonetheless, in order not to disturb social tranquility, he humbly kept himself in the position of a Muslim outside the jurisdiction of the Hindu community. Therefore, he proposed to take prasadam outside the house. Although he was in an exalted position and equal to other great Vaishnavas, he considered himself a papishta, a most sinful man, and adhama, the lowest among men. Although a Vaishnava may be very advanced spiritually, he keeps himself externally humble and submissive. So these are the very important lessons we can learn from these great devotees, being humble and submissive. This is what Mother Devahuti we can find through her expression in front of her son Kapila Deva. Tad etan me vijanehi yataham mandadir hare sukham buddhyeya durbodham yosha bhavadanugrahat. I am a woman, therefore less intelligent. I cannot understand this absolute truth which is very difficult to understand. You kindly explain it to me. Only then will I be able to understand it and feel transcendental happiness. This is exactly how we are supposed to submit ourselves in front of the spiritual master. I am very sinful, fallen conditioned soul, all abominable habits, bad association I come from, and elevating to the level of pure devotional service, obtaining Krishna prema, going back to Godhead. These are not easy thing for me, it's very difficult, but if at all the spiritual master, like if you can instruct me and make it easy for my understanding, and if you can bestow upon me your causeless mercy, then all of these things can happen. So this is the humble submission. So we'll end with this. Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki,